Hello, welcome back to Going Walkabout. In today's episode, I'm building my new profile page in Flutter. When you're following the series, you might have noticed that I'm struggling to create a new profile in SwiftUI. It's not going as smoothly as I want. So instead I thought, let's go and build in Flutter and see how that goes. Now, just to show you what I'm going to build, I have my phone here and I'll show you the profile. So actually what you see here, it's very simple. On top we have a little card with the picture, a name and some flags. And then below that we have a list of trips, each with an image and some additional information. It's very straightforward. And if I click on the profile card or on the card of the trip, we navigate to the trip. And especially the navigation part was giving me troubles in SwiftUI. Now let's see what I did in Flutter. And the first thing I had to do is to extend my block, as we see here. Now I already had a block because I had an existing profile using a block. And here, only thing I had to do is to get the trips for this user. So I extended the block that also the trips of that particular user are part of the business logic object to build the user interface. And then in the profile itself, I just had to do a few things. Now, let's start here. I created a function that builds the header. So that's the round image with the profile image and some additional information. So I create a card, and inside the card a row with a container. This is the clip oval, see the round image. Then a little bit spacer, and next to that a column with some text. What is the name of the user, some information about the user, and the flags here. So it's very simple, straightforward. Create a card that's on top of the header. I also created a card for the trip. And that's a trip with a card. Inside the card we have an image with a particular aspect ratio. We clip that we have the nice round corners on top. And below that, again, we do the trip updated. So the date it is updated with a particular date style. Then we have the trip name with some theming. And below that we have the flags. And that way create a card for each trip. So that's quite straightforward and easy to implement. And then in the view itself, well, we have the scaffold, we have the stream builder, because using blocks you build everything based out of streams. And here in the stream builder, we just have a list builder. We have between 0 and many trips. If we have 0 trips, the list should be 0 plus 1, or number of trips plus 1. That's what we do here, because on the first index we build the header. So we always build the header first, and then for the consecutive items in the list, we create a gesture detector because we want to be able to navigate. We put some additional, let's call it blocks on the widget tree, so to make navigation possible. That's a consequence. It's not very nice, but it's a consequence of using the block model because they need to be available. Then we do the navigator. We have the way we can navigate to the trip, passing in all the variables. We init it and we move on. And then as a child of that gesture detector, we have the card for the particular trip. So this actually renders a list view builder. First item, it is the header, and all the consecutive items are trip cards. And on top of the trip card, we detect the gesture. It's very simple, it's very straightforward. The whole profile is in like less than 200 lines of code. So it was also very simple and very quick to implement. And I was actually very happy with the result because I was a little bit frustrated that it didn't go the way I wanted in my SwiftUI implementation. Went back to Flutter, and in no time I had it working. But we'll see it when it's running. Now I'm running it here on my device. Well, this is the application, this is the trips we don't need to see. We go to the profile, and there we see the card with the user, a card with the trip, and we have all the trips. And now if we click on one, we go nicely to the trip with the map and all the information there is. And instead of the SwiftUI version where I had all kind of troubles here on top with the header not showing correctly, and on the below that my tabs are still showing, here it is really simple and it works. And that's in the end the main goal, make something that works. It also proves a little bit that I kind of like the way Flutter is doing it by giving every page, or yeah, let's call it page view, his own header with his own properties. It is sometimes a little bit extra work that you have to create really your app header in every individual view, but it also gives you much more room to customize the view and the header and make it transparent or not on a particular view if you want to do that. And all in all, that makes it a little bit more work, but also gives you a lot more flexibility. And I like that. So after the dramas with SwiftUI, I really liked it to do it in Flutter. It was working, so it is a 1-0 win, or maybe a 10-0 win for Flutter in this case. And that also proves a little bit that Flutter at the time, at this moment, is so much more mature and is really capable of building applications, whereas SwiftUI, it still takes a few years to mature. It's fun to work in both, but this time Flutter was the clear winner. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.